Almost dramatic, too dramatic for Arsenal in the end there in the last couple of minutes, but they got the job done. Bukayo Saka is back. This is the big news, and he got his goal as well. Kenny only got the pitch. He was off for 3.5 months, or 3 months and a bit. He's back 7.5 minutes and he gets his goal.
Yeah, you felt as if it was fated. The whole stadium was waiting for his appearance. He got a marvellous reception, and of course he does what he generally does when he's on the pitch. He impacted the game. Probably not one of his most memorable finishes, but I like the fact he was kind of Johnny on the spot, in the right place at the right time. Martinelli, probably Arsenal's best attacker on the evening, does great here, being really positive, driving the Fulham defenders, drawing them to him. It's a half-decent cross, Marino, to that near post area. Credit to Martinelli, once he lays it off to Marino, keeps running into the box, drives at that near post area. You know, that's what Arsenal need to do, commit more players into the box. It's a lovely bit of improvisation here from Martinelli. And Saka, as the opposite winger, should always be just arriving at that back post and gets himself a simple tap in. But it was a really good move from Arsenal overall. Yeah, he does a lot of things well, Saka, and we can see the little celebration here with the fitness coach Sam Wilson, who gets his due. Saka has that reputation around the club, and you see, if anyone saw the Amazon documentary, you can see how good he is with people and how well liked he seems to be around the place. I mean, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but it seems quite evident by how everyone in the stadium is reacting to it.
Yeah, look, it's a great moment for the fitness coach Sam Wilson. You know, it's a great recognition for him, because when you're out long term, you spend an awful lot of time with one person. You're best friends pretty much, you know, first thing in the morning right through the last thing of the day. And you know, you're always pushing your fitness coach, you know, want to do more. Can I up it? Can I do one more run? Can I join in? Can I join in training? Can I do the warm up? Can I join in the rondos?
He's telling you no a lot
and
of
he's
the
like,
time.
no, hang on a minute. So like, he has to try and keep the reins on you.
And they say the worst of you, I think the early part of those injuries, you've probably had them as well. You're not a happy bunny, like, you know, your head's down, you're an angry ant, you know, you're almost like resist the kind of information that you don't make it easy for them. So yeah, it's important. I'd say they're almost like physios stroke psychiatrists, that those people. They're so important in terms of getting in between your ears and getting you straight between the ears before they actually start working on your body.
I know we're saying Real Madrid won't be quaking in their boots at that Arsenal performance, but they probably won't be too happy to see
we never
Saka
said that.
back. Yeah. Well, OK, well, you wouldn't think they would be. Yeah, I mean, Real Madrid are going to be favourites for that tie. But with Saka back, that's got to give them a puncher's chance, at least in attack.
It gives Real Madrid something to think about.
Yeah.
You know, so Bukayo Saka is the type of player that in the lead up to the game, he has to be accounted for. So when you're doing your team shape of defending and attacking, he is in the forefront of your thoughts. You know, Carlo Ancelotti and his staff there, you'd always have to have a plan for him. When he gets the ball, do we get him down the line? Are we getting him inside? Do we expect the midfield player to come back? Vinicius isn't going to go back and help the left back, so we're expecting the six to come across. Do we expect the centre back to come out? So that's a credit to Saka, the influence he has in world football now. So Real Madrid have to account for that. They will. I just don't know if Saka on his own will be enough.
It's the only area I think you'd argue is maybe a slight potential weakness in that Madrid team at left back. Maybe Garcia or Mendy. Don't know who's going to play. Whoever does, yeah, they'll have their hands full, and it will be interesting. I think Ancelotti's smart, and he understands that. So I think it wouldn't surprise him if he has a solution. It might be Bellingham over that side of the pitch rather than Vinicius, who he knows is going to track back and double up in those situations, because he'll know he puts Saka out of the game, they're as good as through.
We can get some reaction now from one of Saka's teammates. Declan Rice is standing by.
The 90 minutes.
Yeah, it was good. Obviously been away for 16 days now, so it was good to get back out there with the lads. I thought last 20 minutes we was a bit sloppy, but other than that I thought we was comfortable in the game, and it was good to come back after the break and get a win. That was the most important thing.
So how good was it to have Bukayo Saka come back and to score as well?
Yeah, it was special. I think you heard the crowd's reaction. It was unbelievable, and that's why he's one of the best wingers in the world, because he attacks the box and he's always in the right place, and you know, he gets his goal like he did tonight, and it was a lovely moment for him. But yeah, that's a special moment for B, because he's worked his socks off for 3.5 months, and he's missed a lot of games, but we got him back at a good time.
Yeah, on a slightly less happy note, obviously the 2 defensive injuries, a big worry with this big games coming up especially.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Obviously I don't know what's happened too much, to be honest with you, but 2 of our key players injured. Look, we've got other players who are unbelievable, and we're ready to go no matter who we play against, and whoever the manager picks, you know, we'll always be ready. But yeah, let's see what happens with them too. But hopefully it's okay.
Well done tonight.
Thank you.
For Saka, Yes, it was a good moment. I think when you have the opportunity to feel how much people appreciate and love you, it was a good moment. On top of that, we managed to play some big parts of the game really well, win the game, and adapt to, again, some circumstances that they weren't too positive for us, but overall 3 points.
And the way you came running to the fitness staff to sort of celebrate the work they've done for them as well, what does that say about your football club?
Very good. I think these kids, they are really appreciative of everything that they do for him, and the staff as well. They sacrifice a lot of things, they put a lot of work, and it was a good moment as well, and it tells as well the person behind the player.
Dominant performance by yours, till maybe the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think the way we had to suffer the last few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, defend that corner, the way we conceded the goal, it was really poor. But overall, again, after international break, to play the way we played, really pleased.
Martinelli on the left-hand side sparkled, didn't he?
Yeah, he was really good. I thought he was a real threat. He took a lot of initiative and created a lot of issues. So really good that Abi is reaching that level again.
You'll have a look at those injuries in a couple of minutes, but there are a few other things positive to talk about, and one of them is the performance of Martinelli, who was mentioned there. He got the assist, and he was really a thorn in Fulham's side all night.
Yeah, it's one of the best games I've seen him at for a long time for Arsenal, if I'm being honest.
He's involved in a lot of the chances.
Talented player, kind of burst on the scene. I always feel he's spent too long out of games. Tonight was one of those nights where he was just the main man. Everything came down his side. When you're playing against a low block, flat back five, you know, you need to open up defences. And one way of doing it is getting a white to him in 1v1 situations. And he tortured Castagna, really did. But not just him, they created chances from set plays, as they always will, Arsenal. Wide free kicks, corners, they do pose a huge threat. But with Saka out of the team, it was important for someone like Martinelli to take the reins and be the forefront of Arsenal.
We got Marino there as well. Got himself another goal tonight. He's actually got a pretty good goal scoring record since he went up front.
Yeah, no, I'm going to avoid this corner a little, because you have to remember he's a centre midfielder. He's been centre midfielder, shifted up to centre forward and said all the best. You know, you've got to do a job for us up there. It's not easy. Totally different position. Back to goal, facing back down the play. Don't think he's helped at times. Spoke about Odegaard this evening, detaching himself too much from the centre forward, not really helping him out. But I still think if you get good enough delivery into the box, occasionally will chip in. And he's not the medium to long term solution. We know that. But I give him a bit of credit. You know, his chin's up. He's trying to do the right things, trying to get into the right areas. And like you've suggested, he's chipped in with a few important goals.
Were there a few cracks appearing in the Arsenal defence even before the late consolation goal? With a few chances.
Yeah, kind of ties into my theory about Ben White going in at centre back. If you look at a lot of these chances, you know, Kiwior just not sure about him. This is a great move away here for them. Raul Jimenez has a nice shot. Listen, it's a good save, but again, it's tidied up. But it's more the crosses coming in the box, some of his positioning. Obviously, you got this one here where he gets in a good position, takes a touch, and Adama Traore takes it off him. I just get an uneasy feeling when he's on the pitch. They're nowhere near as solid. That much is obvious. And we're obviously expecting when there's a change at centre-back, you know, it won't look the same, but I'm not sure this guy has what it takes, and certainly not against Real Madrid. Obviously, the breakaway here, this is the miss from Muniz. I can't believe he's missed this. But again, if you look at Kiwior's position, he's only got one player to mark. All you've got to do is stay with him. He drops onto the line for some reason. I have no idea why any centre-back...
He's pointing at the straight. Listen,
yeah, but you're centre-back, you're one-on-one. There's only one in the box right now, two centre-backs. OK, there's one arriving. Maybe he gets taken by the run there of Pereira. But still, go and take Pereira. You don't drop onto the line. And then obviously the goal comes as well with him. Look, he's got Muniz. His first instinct is always take a step back, and that's why he doesn't get close enough there to Sessegnon for that header. I think you got to be touch tight in the box, and I think his first instinct is always take a step back. That's a protective thing. I want to give myself space and time to make a decision. I just rather him go and engage.
Like you said, if Muniz had scored that earlier chance, then maybe there would have been a bigger window to get an equaliser. As it was, it ended up being a consolation goal for a player who is capable of scoring these off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Arsenal have controlled the game, dominated and looked pretty relaxed in how they did it. And obviously they got a little bit of luck with the goal, but I thought Wanyeri was really key into that. But I thought it was, nice bit of magic here. You see it in the build-up now. patient in the build-up. I love how Timber comes inside there, that gets that pass on, and I love how Nwaneri just goes in behind. I love wingers that give the fullback a problem. If you can penetrate the fullback at any time, you come up with bits of magic, and that's what he did.
I think he's look at Robinson. He's you can see his number now, so he doesn't know where Nwaneri is. He's looking inside. There's an option there, what Kaz pointed out to me with Marino, but this is what you want, got people going in behind, because even Marino there, you know, when there's an opportunity for him to go beyond, he still wanted it to feet, and I think that the Fulham defenders, when they see that, you know, he's on his weak foot, there's 3 of them around him and they can't make a challenge. Again, you know, you deserve everything you get in that instance. But it's good to see Arsenal trying to break the line. You've got to get past that line.
Bit of luck there with the deflection as well, but they're 1-0 ahead and that's all that counts. Bit of worrying news, seeing Gabriel pull up with an injury. It didn't look good, did it, Kaz?
No, and look, I think when you're chasing Traore in the first 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes actually this game was, I think that's where he started to kind of really stretch himself, and you can see him pull up straight away. It's worrying because of how many injuries Arsenal have to hamstring, and it's even more worrying because in seven days' time they're going to be playing Real Madrid, and you need this guy in your team, so it's a little bit concerning.
It is very concerning because for me, the way he's pulled up, that's not 2 weeks. That's like 6 weeks at least. Could be out for the season, depending on what happens with Arsenal. But that's a massive blow for us because with him and without him, there's a massive difference, especially in the win ratio. You know, so he is somebody that, you know, is vital to what Arsenal are doing.
Yeah, the numbers there show 64% win percentage with him, but without 41%. There is a difference there.
Yeah,
really.
Consistency, the pairing of the centre-backs, his physicality, his mentality, the standards. In every good team, you need to have 2 solid, consistent centre-backs, so that would be a huge blow if that...
Bukayo Saka enjoyed a dream return to action by scoring what proved to the winner minutes after coming off the bench against Fulham. Mikel Merino had given us a first-half lead before Bukayo entered the fray midway through the second, and within 8 minutes he was celebrating when he nodded home a neat Gabriel Martinelli flick to seal the points with his 10th goal of the campaign. Rodrigo Muniz pulled one back 3 minutes into stoppage time to set up a grandstand finish, but we managed to see out the final stages to secure back-to-back wins over West London neighbours either side of the international break. In 32 previous meetings in N5 in all competitions, we had never lost to Fulham, the most we've faced a side without ever tasting defeat on home soil, and that record never looked to be in too much danger. Much like the previous encounter at Craven Cottage in December, we dominated the possession and territory stats with Fulham's back 5 set out to stifle us. But our backline required a reshuffle just 15 minutes in when Gabriel pulled up with what looked to be a hamstring injury, with Jacob Kiwior taking his place. Despite suffering that blow 1 week away from our Champions League date with Real Madrid, we didn't let it unnerve us, and Ethan Nwaneri came close to opening the scoring when he struck a Gabriel Martinelli cross on the volley and forced Bernd Leno to beat the blast away. Amidst a quiet, fragmented half of football punctuated by stoppages, we kept our patience, and it paid off on 37 minutes when we grabbed a lead to take into the break with us. Nwaneri escaped past Anthony Robinson on the left flank and cut the ball back to Marino inside the box. After taking a couple of touches to get it under control, the Spaniard saw his shot deflect off Jorge Quancora creep into the bottom corner of Leno's goal and net his 6th goal in his last 10 games for club and country. A 1-goal lead was much appreciated against a side who had arrived in North London with ambitions of achieving a first-ever top 6 finish this term, and who had won 3 of their last 4 on their travels, and 7 minutes after the restart the Cottagers showed some threat when Raul Jimenez nearly netted for a 3rd straight game against us, but David Raya was equal to his effort. The ball went straight down the other end, and a vicious strike by Jurrien Timber after he worked a 1-2 with Martin Odegaard left Leno winded as it smashed into his midriff, and then our set pieces began to cause Fulham problems with Martinelli and Marino both seeing efforts flicked away from goal by defenders. On 66 minutes Emirates Stadium was on its feet as Saka made his return after 101 days out injured and received a roar as loud as the one that greeted Marino's goal, but that was beaten 8 minutes later when he picked up where he left off before Christmas. Martinelli initiated an attack after speeding down the left and found Marino. His cross was then flicked on acrobatically by the Brazilian towards the back post, where Saka simply had to stoop to nod the ball past Leno and write his fairy tale return.